Hi, Red Knights. We are back with a new shared read. This shared read is called Preserve and Protect. The essential question is, how do landmarks help us understand our country's story? Read about why national parks are important. So, we're going to be reading about national parks in this shared read. For this lesson, you're going to need to grab your Reader's Writer's Companion book and open up to page 62. You're also going to need a pencil so that you can write in the answers as we figure them out together throughout the lesson. If you need a few minutes to grab those items, pause the video so you can go get them. All right, boys and girls, before we get started reading the text, I want to go over a couple skills that we are going to encounter as we're reading and answering questions about this story. The first skill that we're going to talk about is main idea and details. Main idea is what the story or the text is mostly about. There might be some other things that will come up throughout the story, but the main idea is what it is mostly about. To find the main idea, you need to look for supporting details. Now, I want you to think of main idea kind of like a table. The large tabletop is the main idea because that's what the story is mostly about. And the details lift up, hold up, and support the main idea. You can have several details that support the main idea. And just like a tabletop, the legs support the tabletop. Just like the details support the main idea. There are a couple different strategies that you can use to help you identify the main idea of a text. The first is that you can use the titles and headings that are in the story. Authors pick titles and headings that will give clues to what they're about to talk about. You can also use the topic sentences. The topic sentences are usually the first sentence that you read in a paragraph or a passage. You can also use concluding sentences. Concluding sentences are the last sentences that you'll see in a paragraph or a section of a text. So, where the topic sentence is the first sentence you'll read, the concluding sentence is the last sentence that you'll read. An author will usually start a text or a paragraph with the main idea and then close the paragraph or passage with the main idea again. The next strategy you can use is to look for repeating ideas. So if you're reading a passage or a paragraph and the same idea keeps popping up throughout the text, that's going to be a strong clue that that's a detail supporting a main idea. The other skill we're going to look at is text features. Text features are things that we find throughout different texts to help us understand what the words are trying to teach us or tell us about. You can see that there are a bunch of different types of text features. A title could be a text feature, photographs, a table of contents, illustrations, headings, captions, text boxes, bullet points listing ideas. Maps are text features. Timelines, keywords. Usually you'll find keywords that are in darker lettering. We call that in bold. You'll see diagrams and labels, So a picture that has labels explaining what the different parts are. You'll have a glossary, an index, and then finally you could have charts and graphs to help explain what the text is saying. So text features are something we should really pay attention to when we're reading because they will help us understand what the main idea is or help us to comprehend what we're trying to learn. All right, now that we learned all about main idea and text features, let's head back to our book and start reading and writing about the text. Let's start by listening to the summary of preserve and protect to help us get our brains ready for what we're about to learn. We're going to listen to it to English first and then Spanish.
Preserve and protect. This story is an argumentative text. It tells about a law that protects national parks and monuments. No one can build on the land or cut down the trees. Many people are happy about the rules that protect these places. Some people say there are too many rules. The rules make it hard to run some businesses. For example, lumber companies need to cut down trees for wood. When companies cannot cut down trees, lumber becomes expensive. Not everyone agrees that it is good to have many rules protecting national parks and monuments.
Preservar y proteger. Esta historia es un texto argumentativo. Trata sobre una ley que protege los parques y monumentos nacionales. Nadie puede construir en esos terrenos ni cortar árboles. Muchas personas están de acuerdo con las normas que protegen esos sitios. Otras personas consideran que hay demasiadas normas. Tales normas dificultan la administración de ciertos negocios. Por ejemplo, las empresas madereras necesitan cortar árboles para obtener madera. Cuando las compañías no pueden cortar árboles, la madera aumenta de precio. No todos están de acuerdo en que es beneficioso tener muchas normas de protección de parques y monumentos nacionales.
Okay, let's read this first page of our text and answer questions.
The largest living tree in the world lives in a forest in California, but not just any forest. This massive tree lives in the giant forest. It is a landmark that has been growing there for over 2,000 years. Many people work hard to protect this national treasure. There are rules to make sure this happens, but some people worry that there are too many rules. A giant forest. More than 1 million people hike the trails in the giant forest to visit the General Sherman tree each year. It's no wonder. The grand sequoia tree stands 375 feet tall. It is as wide as 3 school buses parked end to end. But many other huge trees live there too. The giant forest is where half of the Earth's sequoia trees live. In 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson signed a law that protects trees like the General Sherman. It also protects all plants and animals living in national parks. The law states that animals and wildlife are safe there. No one can cut trees or build homes on the land. The traces, or parts of cultures that lived there long ago, are protected. National parks protect thousands and thousands of acres of wildlife, but some people believe these lands should be available for other uses. Map. Sequoia National Park. Map labels. Crystal Cave. General Sherman Tree. Giant Forest. Giant Forest Museum. Morro Rock. Key. Blue dot, park sites. Building, museums. Tree, General Sherman Tree. Pink line, General's Highway. Caption. The Sequoia National Park is located in California.
All right, let's get into our first question. It says paragraph 1. So that's where we're going to reread and find our answer for this question. Ask and answer questions. What are some people worried about? Underline text evidence. So let's go back, reread, and find the text evidence for this question. The largest living tree in the world lives in a forest in California. But not just any forest. The massive tree lives in the giant forest. It is a landmark that has been growing there for over 2,000 years. Many people work hard to protect this national treasure. There are rules to make sure this happens, but some people worry that there are too many rules. Well, this sentence seems to answer our question, because our question was, what are some people worried about? And that's a right there question. We can look for words that are in the question in the paragraph to help us answer it. So I see the words some people worry, and here we have some people worry. That my brain's telling me to pay attention. Some people worry that there are too many rules. So underline that sentence to show your text evidence. The next part of this question says, now think of a question you might have. Write it here. So what is a question that you might have? Now that we've been talking about these parks, I'm curious about what national parks are near me. So I'm going to say that. What national parks are near me? So what national parks are near me? We live in Reading, Pennsylvania, so I'm wondering what national parks are near Reading, Pennsylvania. You can write the question I have, or you can write your own question. The next question is going to be found in paragraph 2. So this is paragraph 1 and paragraph 2. You can tell because of the indent. The question says, main idea and key details. Circle 3 key details that tell about the giant forest. More than 1 million people hike the trails in the giant forest to visit the General Sherman tree each year. It's no wonder. The grand sequoia tree stands 275 feet tall. It is almost as wide as a school bus is long. But many other huge trees live there too. The giant forest is where half of the Earth's sequoia trees live. I read that over 1 million people hike the trail each year. This detail tells how many people visit the General Sherman tree. So I'm going to circle that as a key detail. Then, as I was reading on, I could see that there were more details about the forest. One of them was, it says many other huge trees live there. So let's circle that as well. Many other huge trees live there too. Circle that whole sentence. A third detail we could circle is, it says that half of the Earth's sequoia trees live there. So I feel like that's a very important detail because that's telling me something very important about this giant forest. So I'm going to circle that as my third detail. Half of the Earth's sequoia trees live there. All right. The next question is about the map. Now, boys and girls, a map is a text feature used to help us understand the words that we read. The question says, look at the map key. Down here, we have the map key. The map key gives us symbols and explains what those symbols mean. It says, draw a box around the General Sherman tree. Write the name of another place on the map. So we are going to look at this text feature down here to try to find the General Sherman tree. In the key, it shows a symbol of a tree and it says General Sherman tree down here. You might be able to see it better on your book than on the screen. So take a look at your map key, find the little symbol that looks like a tree, and then the words next to it say General Sherman tree. Now look for that same symbol on the map and it says draw a box around it. All right, you should have put a box around this symbol to show where the General Sherman tree was. Now, the rest of the question tells us to write the name of another place on the map. So on our map key, it shows other park sites using a blue dot. Do you see the other park sites on the map? There is Crystal Cave, Giant Forest, and Mora Rock. You can write all three or choose one to write on the line. I'll write all three. All right, boys and girls, that was really fun learning so far. We're going to pause this story for today and we're going to finish it tomorrow.